People overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in 5 years or 10 years. You have to have the long term vision. If you started a year ago, where would you be right now? Like, you would be making so much money. The fact that you don't know what you're doing, that means that you're continuing to grow, make friends, and be with people that are actually going to support you.
Hi Janine, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm also great. Thanks for asking. So thank you being my guest. It's honor.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. Before we start our podcast, I want to ask who is Janine, and please describe you. Please describe yourself as much as you want. Take your time. Like we're just more than person. So
Who is Janine? That's a really good question. Honestly, I think that the people around you can describe you the best as opposed to yourself because you can get really biased, right? But if I were to describe myself, I think in this stage of my life, I would say right now I am okay. But let's start off with the basics. I'm 18 years old. I am in community college right now, but in part time. So aside from that, I'm also a student in Digital Launchpad learning sales, and I'm also starting an agency, which right now I'm working on like getting my first client. I'd say like in terms of personality and me as an individual, I would say I'm definitely the kind of person to, try to make the most out of my day and the opportunities that I really have, right? But also, you know, make time for what's most important in life. So, for example, like family and growing as an individual. That's something that I really focus on is like trying to grow as an individual, whether that be through fitness or through skills or just life in general. Like something that I always do is journal and try to find out like what can I do to improve and to become like a better version of myself.
makes sense. And honestly, I really want to say thank you again because I love when you said like I spend my time the most necessary things like family and just spending a time for the podcast is also like you did is a as a priority. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And you said like you are starting your agency, right?
Yeah, correct.
And also you are appointment setter,
Yeah, I
right?
was yeah, I was an appointment setter for about like 4 months or so. Yeah.
Um, how you can do it? Honestly, I have no idea what is appointment setter.
Okay, so an appointment setter is basically a kind of sales rep. Usually when we say appointment setter, nowadays, like especially in digital launchpad, it's more of like in the online sales space. I can't really say anything for like in person or anything like that, but appointment setters are usually the people who once you find someone who's interested, you would usually call them or DM them, you're going to contact them and try to get them on a call with a closer, which is the person that actually, you know, gets the person either to buy or to not buy, right? So let's say, for example, you have a product online, like a program that's like $2,000, and then someone signs signs up for maybe your newsletter in like relating to the program and just you as an individual. So what you would do once you find out that they're interested is that you would contact them and then have a quick conversation with them and see if they'd be a great fit to like actually buy the program. Does that make sense?
It is. It sounds like challenging. How you can handle this, making deal, and I know like there is a ton of rejections, ignorings. How you can handle it?
I'd say definitely through practice, um, and learning as much as possible. Because it obviously when you're starting out, it's not going to be easy. It's basically like learning a new skill. That's a skill. Sales is a skill that you can use not only in your job but also in real life, right? So just practicing with yourself, with other people, and actually doing it, doing appointment setting, messing up, and then learning from your mistakes. And that's the best way to learn, actually.
Um, Actually, makes sense. Do you like your job?
Back then, I think ended, I stopped being an appointment setter like 2 months ago. But I think it's honestly one of the easiest jobs that you can have. Like, I remember back then, um, since I was just doing everything through DMs as well, is I was like basically handling someone's DMs. It was incredibly simple, and I can't really say much for calling the person because that's not really what I did. Usually, that's what people do, right? But in terms of what I did, I think I liked it because it was very simple and it was very like easy to make money in a way, like one of the easiest ways. So yeah, I could say that I liked it.
So you have not like got your first client, right?
Not yet.
Okay, I will ask this question again. Okay, you said like you started your agency 2 months ago, and but you're really trying to get your first client in this 2 months of period, and that seems like you have a lot of patience about like getting the first client, but you didn't stop yet. So how you have like this patient working from it? I'm curious about because like there's people if things does not work in 1 week, they just quit.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, I agree. I think you have to have the right perspective when starting a business. It's not like once you start a business, the next week you're gonna start earning as much money as you'd like, or even earning money at all, right? So you have to realize that so many things can happen in a longer period of time as compared to a short period of time. Like they say, people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in 5 years or 10 years. So you have to have the long term vision to keep going, even though like every single day it feels like you're not really getting anywhere. As long as you're doing what you need to do, you're gonna eventually get there. It's it's a process and you just have to trust the process.
I like when you said like people overestimate and underestimate when they are doing in 5 years. Like wow, this is really true, and I agree with you 100%. Like um, yeah, there's people like cannot see that themselves like in the future in 5 years. And if you yeah, you're right. If you want to grow, you need to take it one step and then another, and being patient, what are you doing, and then you can grow eventually, right? And but I'm very curious about it. 2 months but you didn't quit, and where do you know like this making this agency is your job? Do you like, or is there any reason like there is has to something to keep you in there,
Yeah, and I think that that's something that keeps you there is really your why, as the reason why you started and why you're doing this in the first place. Because if you don't have a good enough reason as to why you're doing everything, and the times get difficult and like you're 2 months in and you're not seeing any progress, and then you ask yourself, why am I even doing this? If you don't have a solid answer to that, then you're just gonna give up, which is what the majority of people are like, right? So for me, my why is, I want a better life for my family, obviously as being the eldest sister, and I don't want to take the conventional path that majority of the people take nowadays, like going to college and then graduating, getting a low paying job, and then 10, 15 years down the line, that's when your income will actually be, decent at most. So yeah, that's not something that I want for myself. But the life that I have right now is not the life that I want for my family, especially my siblings as well. So I guess even if it seems like I'm not really making any progress, right? Because not all progress is tangible. Um, like the progress that you get when you're not, when you keep going no matter what, that progress is mindset. Yeah, so the mindset that you need to keep going is what's gonna is gonna keep strengthening the more that you keep trying. That makes sense.
So I think you want to also be role model to your siblings, right? But I have a question. Like I really want to ask this question for everyone. Like sorry for asking. Do your parents do they work 9 to 5 job?
Yeah. My dad works 9 to 5, but my mom is a stay at home mom.
Like we all in this generation we all have fear working a 9 to 5 job. And also, as you said, I don't want to work 9 to 5 job. But why? Because I know you also grew in a really good family with everything. When you ask something, you get it, right? But your father works at like 9 to 5 job. My parents also worked at 9 to 5 job. But I have like everything. Like they fit me really good, really really royal family. Like, but what do you think? Where we get this fear? Working at 9 to 5 job is nightmare, even though we are living in a good life. What do you think? Why do you have fear?
Yeah. So that's a really good question. I think when when approaching it, you can't really only look at it from a financial perspective. Yeah, you get to have the things that you want most of the time, or all the time, depending on the job that your parents have. But there's more to financial freedom. It's also, having time freedom and location freedom, being able to work whenever you want, being able to work whenever you want. With a 9 to 5, that's usually not the case. And also, with the economy being as it is right now, especially here in the US, if you work a 9 to 5, like especially not only here in the US, but especially like where I live and my family lives here in San Francisco in California, it's super expensive. So even if your parents are earning like, I don't know, 6K, 8K a month, it's not enough. Because majority of the time, all of the money that you earn just goes to expenses, and then at the end of the week, you're left with nothing. It's kind of like paycheck to paycheck, doing paycheck to paycheck, which is not ideal.
Yeah, it sounds like it depends country because here in Uzbekistan, in Tashkent, also it's look like it's not enough, but Yeah, that actually depends. Like, I think, but yeah. So you want to have financial freedom and like also the freedom in the space where you're working. Yeah, it makes sense actually. So, do you think um is it worth it like getting diploma, high degree? I mean, do you want to um university degree?
I think nowadays, a degree is not as valuable as it used to be, like 40 years ago. Like back when our parents were in college, that was really the only way for you to get a good job. But nowadays, it's not as valuable. So, I mean, obviously, with professional jobs like engineering, architecture, doctor, you have to have a degree. Like that's a requirement. But as for the other jobs nowadays, they value experience more than a degree. So I would say, depending on the degree, it could be valuable or it couldn't.
Question: what do you think? What you are really good at?
Really good at? Um,
Yeah.
I have to think about this one. Just give me a
Take your
second.
time.
I think one of the things that I do better than most is trying to look at my my actions from a third person point of view, as opposed to and I know that probably doesn't make sense, but what I mean by that is like sitting down, looking at the things that you've done and seeing, is this benefiting me or is it not benefiting me? And if it's not, then you would take it out because a lot of the times people get caught up in what they do and they don't realize if what they're doing is actually good for them. So then, this is where addiction comes into place. This is where, just getting caught up in life without actually realizing what you're doing.
I need to think about it. Could you tell us more about?
Yeah. How do I explain this? It's like, how some people, not some people, majority of the people are just coasting through life. They're just basically doing what everybody else wants them to do. Like, for example, let's take college, for example. Your parents, all your relatives, they want you to go to college and they want you to, I don't know, become a doctor or whatever. So that's what you do. But you have to really sit down with yourself and realize, is that really something that you want to do yourself? Or is that just what people want for you? And if you see that, your life is being dictated by other people, what I mean by that is you're letting other people make the decisions for you. If that's the case, then like what you would want to do is stop doing that, right? Is
Yeah,
to really do what you want to do.
yeah, it is. Cold call is for me is the toughest thing because you got rejections or something bad happens in my imagination. Okay, but did you ever have like the
Yeah.
funny one?
A funny cold call.
Yeah, funny cold call. Funny one.
I don't think so.
You don't think
I don't
so?
think so. No.
Why?
I don't remember anything funny about a cold call. Yeah, I don't think there was any like that.
I want to experience that funny cold call. I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm not into the cold call or being sales rep. I never tried before, but like I don't know personally. Am I good fit in or not? What do you think? Being sales rep or agency owner, or what kind of people can do it? Fit in.
Being in sales, you have to have the right mindset. I think if you enter sales with all of these beliefs about yourself that you can't do it because you're introverted or you're shy and you're not willing to have an open mindset about it, then sales is going to be really hard for you. But from what other people say, introverts are the best sales reps because they know how to listen. So, I mean, you could go for it if you want to. There's nothing really holding you back from being one. Just you have to be coachable and you have to have an open mindset and you have to be willing to let go of the majority of the beliefs that you have about yourself because when you join sales it's more of like not only you're not only learning a skill but you're also rebuilding yourself into a person that is into a person that has a capability to help other people solve their own problems. Like you need to have your life together first, and I'm still working on that myself.
Yeah, you seem to like extrovert.
No, 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 I'm not. I'm the opposite.
You're not. You're
Yeah,
not
no, I'm
really.
not. Yeah, well, I don't really like labeling myself as an extrovert or introvert. I'm more of just like me. I'm Janine. um, yeah,
Or yeah, like there's ambivert, the middle of like ambivert has the extrovert things and introvert skills.
I think, I think, yeah, I think in essence, everybody is an ambivert because sometimes like you're not exactly truly to the qualities of an introvert or truly to the qualities of an extrovert because a lot of people say, oh, I'm an introvert, but when you get close to me or when you become like my close friend, I'm an extrovert. So technically you're not an introvert, you're kind of like somewhere in between, which is like where everybody is.
Yeah,
It really depends on the person that you're talking to.
that makes sense. How you're interested in agency? Like there is so many things doing online and not working 9 to 5 job. Why being sales rep and agency owner?
I think sales rep really came from DL. I just like randomly chose it. But in terms of being an agency owner, I think a lot of it came from watching Iman's YouTube videos. And, he's really good at copywriting. I mean, he has a really good copywriting team. So he's basically convinced a lot of people that agency is the best business model to start for beginners. And obviously, seeing the results that people have with the agency business model itself, I mean, it already, it already, the results prove that agency is a good business model to start, especially when you're just starting out. In terms of starting an agency, I think I definitely got influenced by Iman and and his YouTube videos, just like everything like that. I remember last year telling myself that I wanted to start an agency because because I realized that it was a good business model to start with. It was a good business model for beginners to start with. So yeah, that's what I really stuck to.
Do you want to try anything else?
I have tried affiliate marketing earlier this year, but it didn't really go well because I had no clue what I was doing.
Oh yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. But like, if the money and if money weren't issue, what do you want to do?
Hmm. Good question. I think if money wasn't a problem, I probably wouldn't be in the agency space. I think I'd probably go into like the home design space. That makes sense. Like maybe an architecture or interior designer. If I had like if money wasn't a problem and that was something that I could do like my entire life.
Oh wow, I like it. No, like interior designer or designing the houses, like being architecture. Which one or both?
I think I'd like to do something that incorporates both. Um because architecture is really more about the building itself, whereas interior
Yeah,
design is more of like, what's inside the building. I think architecture seems really
architecture.
fun. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Because my father was architecture like more than 40 years, I think. And yeah, yeah, he was really good at, and he designed most of the big buildings here in Uzbekistan. So yeah, he was
Mm,
the one of the famous architecture, but it's not like honestly. But yeah, you have to really have the passion drawing things,
yeah.
spectacularly. Oh wow, this is a skill, and yeah. But what do you think if you were, let's say, let's imagine, if you were architecture, what kind of buildings you would draw? Like, which, like, as I mentioned, do you like this style, like, as I mentioned, luxury style or high tech, or like the old school one?
I think I definitely like to work in residential architecture, so more of like single family homes, something like that, because I think being able to design something for a family that they're going to live in forever and possibly pass down to their parents, and to their children and make good memories with. I think if I can help with that, that would be great. Yeah.
Um, did you ever decorated your room, ever?
Um, I think something similar to that would be me and my dad working on creating a house, building a house in the Philippines. Yeah, so I kind of helped with that, and yeah, that's probably the closest I could get so far.
Oh, yeah, interesting. But yeah, you definitely should design your room. It's really fun.
Yeah.
Like you use your imagination and you do whatever you want. So it's quite good. Where'd you learn the most of the things you have
In terms of mindset or
in
something
terms of
else.
mindset? Yeah.
I think I learned most of it from other people who are already successful or who are on the same path as me in terms of being a better person. So what I mean by that is, for example, in DL, the sales coach Scott Burning. he always talks about, how to become a better person, and really getting rid of your limiting beliefs that you have, because a lot of people are like, um oh, I can't do this because X, or I can't cold call because I'm terrible at English. Like, there's a lot of people that are like that. I'm terrible at talking to people, so I can't do this, I can't do that. But the moment that you realize, that's not really something that should hold you back, but you have to use that as a reason to actually do it, so then you can grow and learn and get out of your comfort zone to become a better person, because you don't grow in your comfort zone. But if you do something that's uncomfortable and you learn from that experience, that's where you grow. So, for example, maybe doing cold calls for the first time. Like, I remember the first time I did a cold call, it literally took me 20 minutes to like finally dial the person. Like, I knew who I was going to dial, but it took me 20 minutes to actually call them. And now it's like I can call hundreds of people a week and I have no problem. So, it's those little things, not really little things. It's those things that get you out of your comfort zone that actually helps you grow and become a better person.
What advice would you give getting rid of this comfort zone?
I wouldn't say it's possible to get rid of your comfort zone, but to anyone who's you know using who's making excuses to not do what they know they should be doing, just realize that you're delaying something that's going to happen eventually. And if you just leave it and you don't do anything, and you, I don't know, distract yourself from actually doing something, like for example, you always wanted to start a business, but you always make an excuse as to why you can't do it. Oh, it's not the right time right now, or I'm not in this program, so I can't do it yet. Something like that. If you keep using that excuse, you're not really going to get anywhere, and you're just going to keep delaying something that you should be doing. And you have to realize that if you just started, like, excuses aside, if you just started the moment that you decided that you wanted to start, like for example, if you wanted to start a business for a year now, if you started a year ago, where would you be right now? Like, you would
Wow.
be making so much money already, or you would, even if you weren't making that much money, you would already like be 1 year into your business. But you literally delayed it for a year doing nothing, and you're still in the same place that you were last year. So like, if you keep delaying it, nothing's gonna change. But if you finally do something about it, and you finally take the leap, even though you're not ready, even though you have no clue what you're doing, you're gonna get somewhere. You're gonna grow, because the truth is nobody really knows what they're doing. No matter what stage you are in, no matter if you're making $0, $1,000 a month, $10,000, you still you're still not gonna know what you're doing. But I think the fact that you don't know what you're doing, that means that you're continuing to grow. Because the people that say, "Oh, I already know what I'm doing. I don't need to scale my business. I don't need to do this or that." Those are the people that get complacent, and eventually, like, your progress is gonna stop. You're gonna stop making progress, and then you're not gonna grow. And if you're not growing, you're dying. So the fact that you don't know what you're doing, that just proves that you're growing.
It made me think you really were right when you said, like, if you started your business 1 year ago, even you can scale up this business and you were the business in 1 year, even you didn't make money. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
100% right. And what thing motivates you to wake up early morning and keep doing things and like getting first client?
Yeah, at this stage, it's really just my family and my future, because I just realized that if I stop running my agency, or if I stop and just give up on the business, Like I'm probably just gonna go to college, and yeah, I don't really like that path. So this is really the only option that I have. So that's what keeps me going. It's like I'm gonna keep doing this and I'm gonna make it work no matter what, or I'm gonna die trying. I know that kind of sounds a bit morbid, but yeah.
One podcast my guest Sabina said to me, like we had like the different opposite options. Like in terms of making money and working, I said you have to love what you are doing and then money comes. But she said if you want to make money, you have to uh, work and then you will love and you know you have to do something even you don't like. Her mindset. Mine is you have to love first and then money comes and then you can work. But I think this is the even it's opposite. For some people fit either one. But what do you think?
Hmm. I think a lot of the people that earn millions of dollars a year, like for example, Iman, 90% of what he's doing nowadays, he doesn't like it. He doesn't like it at all. But he has to do it, right? He has to keep running his businesses. He has to take all his meetings. But that's, and he said this yesterday, it's not something that he really enjoys doing, but he still does it. So that after he does 90% of what he doesn't like doing, he can enjoy the 10%. In terms of your perspective, which is, you have to love what you're doing and then the money will come, it really comes down to what you value the most. Like, do you value, I'm not saying like the people that don't like what they're doing value money the most. That's not the case all the time. That is the case sometimes. But I think for the people that are willing to do things that they don't like, they have something bigger that they're working towards. So that when they get the money, they'll use it for that purpose. Like, for example, they want to help their family. What they really value is helping their family, so they're gonna do whatever it takes to be able to help them, even if they don't like what they're doing. But for you, it's like, okay, what do you like doing, for example?
Um, you're asking about me?
Yeah, just for an example, like what do you like doing?
I like to. Okay, before I will answer your question. I want to say this mindset or maybe this thought came from my family, my parents, let's say, because
Hmm.
never had the kind of I have to work, I have to make money, or I'm not older because my guess also the only one girl, the child, let's say. Also, you are the older one, but I'm the little one. So, like, I never thought about money, and I don't know how I entered this space, like how I'm joining this deal. I don't know. I have no clue. If you will ask, and I would say maybe this is the thing that scaled up when I grew up. Like because when I started making money when I was like 16 or 15, I really like doing crochet, knitting. This was my hobby. I really enjoyed when I was
Hmm.
knitting, right? And then I just thought about maybe what if I sell this thing? And I opened the channel and make some followers, and then they ordered my things, right? This is the thing. maybe the reason why I'm thinking in terms of making money. Because first I needed what I love, and then I sold it, right? And also, like 2 days ago, I listened the podcast that Ali Abdal, if you know him, like a YouTuber, he also said, like, in terms of YouTube content, if you are making content, if you want to make from it, from your YouTube content, the first thing, you need to think like, uh no, like, because of you choose this path, like just making content and earn money, because of you want to chase from 9 to 5 job, or making online money, like being an agency owner, or like chase, like, not liking cold calls, right? You want to have freedom, and you have to love what you are doing. You have to love your content, the process of recording, editing, because you don't want to have another, like, prison, because you choose that way, getting rid of the another prison, like the 9 to 5 job. You want freedom. So in terms of, like, this is what I mean, like, if you can get it, like, sorry, the answer, the question you asked, yeah, like, first thing, I love making content and I don't care about money, or I love knitting, I don't care about money, because when I skilled up, like 2 years, 3 years, I'm sure I will be good at, and then I can sell my product, and then, like, 3 years, 4 years, maybe I will have monetized in the YouTube. It's depends on the time. And this is what I mean when I said you have to love first, and then you can make money.
Yeah. I mean, I see your perspective, right? It's like you choose something that you enjoy doing and you get good at it, and
Yeah,
then that's when you monetize it. Yeah. A lot of people do that, right? So I'm not gonna say anything on that side because that's not really something that I do myself. Like,
yeah, yeah,
well, maybe creating content. That's what I've started doing a bit, but it's not really something that I'm looking to monetize. It's just like that's whatever's gonna happen is what's gonna happen. Um, but I mean, speaking of what you said, it's more of like passion over profit. So
yeah,
first you choose what you're passionate about, and then the profit will come. I think a lot of that comes from maybe the traditional ideas that people had like a decade ago or even now. It's like, oh, kid, what do you want to be when you grow up? And they're like, oh, I want to be a doctor because I like healing people, whatever. I think it kind of stems from that. I have no clue. That was that. But yeah, I guess it really depends on the person and what they value the most.
yeah. Because I am in myself. I'm the type of person. If I don't like it, I'm sorry. I will not be there. I'm the type of person I cannot be patient. If I don't like something, I cannot. And yeah, it depends on, like, maybe, as I said, it's traditional, like, because of me, don't want to make money, or does not have to make money. I don't know. So yeah, I think this is both perspective. It's true, because even though one day you have to have making content, because you have to give something to people watch, like, you have to put your energy anyways one day. And yeah, I this I like, yeah, I agree with the both, yeah. So, um, does it the first thing like being the sales rep your first job, or did you ever try out something else?
I think that was my first job. Yeah, I haven't really done anything before that.
But what do you think? What are you passionate about? Where do you know maybe something else will fit you, like being a doctor or running some sort of store? If it's the first thing you are trying.
Mm. I think something that I'd like to do is just helping people. So, in whatever shape or form that is, that can change, right? It's not
Yeah,
like, for example, maybe I want to run a store right now. Maybe in 2 years, that's not what I want to do. So I move on. But in essence, like everything that I do, I think my main goal is to just help people.
yeah, that makes sense. So you think maybe that even you are profitable, you might change your job. Like if you don't like it one day, what do you think? Did you ever thought about this?
Hmm. I mean, if I don't like what I'm doing and there's something else that I do like doing, that I that
Even you are making
that
money,
could
but you don't like
yeah.
it.
Hmm. I think a lot of people fall into that trap. If I fall into that trap, um, I don't know. I guess only time will tell. But hopefully, I
But
don't get stuck doing something. Yeah.
because you said like even Iman does not enjoy like 90%, but anyways, there's 10%. He will enjoy
Hmm.
it, right? And
Yep.
if he like, what if you cannot enjoy like 100%? What do you think? What you're gonna do?
Hmm. Because if I don't enjoy it, then I'll kind of be trapped, right? Because that's the money I'm making money from it, but I don't really enjoy what I'm doing.
Yeah, because it's like the same trap, like working 9 to 5 job.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you
I
think?
think I'll try to. I think I'll try to find a way out from there, and try to
Okay.
find a sweet spot where I do enjoy what I'm doing. Maybe not 100%, but I do enjoy what I'm doing, and I'm also making money from it.
Yeah, because like by the time like I didn't work like officially, but like I try myself like in a different spaces, like selling something, even I have no clue, or having the Shopify store, or like sort of like different things. I find myself in a way that um like I am a really creative person. And yeah, like I know about myself that 100% I'm sure like I'm not type of person like being trapped, and like if I don't like something, like yeah, I you will not see me there anymore. Like the same thing like as you do, like helping people no matter like helping people anyways, like yeah, this is my mission. And I thought like this is a really good thing, doing something, because this is something really motivates me like every day. And yeah, um do you read books?
Yeah, I do read books, but I haven't read in a while because I have a busy schedule.
What was the last time?
The last time I read, I think the last nonfiction book that I read was Never Split the Difference or Can't Hurt Me. One of those. Do you know those books?
Interesting. No, I never heard about it.
Yeah, Can't Hurt Me is David Goggins' book. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Do you think the person has to read books in terms of um, getting better? 1%?
I think there's definitely some books that are like that majority of the people who are trying to improve themselves have read. Kind of like Atomic Habits, Think and Grow Rich. Like those are the books that everybody has read at this point. So I think, yeah, definitely reading books is a good source of information and you can learn a lot from it. But you get to the point where you don't have to read as much books. It's more on just implementation of what you learned and just doing the thing. Because if you keep reading books but you don't really change anything in your life, then there's really no point in you reading.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because if you're not changing, what was the reason, like, the first stage when you are reading book? Yeah, that's true. If you cannot use it, convince others, yeah, right. Okay, I have a question for you. I
Hmm.
prepared questions. Like, this is the questions I always ask for my guest before ending the call. Where it is. Do you compare yourself with others when you see they are doing better than you?
Yeah, I do. I do. I try not to put myself down. I think it's natural for you to compare yourself to others, especially people who are doing better than you, because you see like, oh, you guys started at the same time and they're doing better than you, like they're earning more money or whatever. You know, it's easy to fall into that trap, especially if you look at social media and everything in social media. It's like people just post a highlight reel of their life, which is not really their life.
Yeah,
And you just have to be aware that, that's not really what their life looks like day to day. They're human, just like you and me. Their life isn't like this glamorized version of life where they have no problems and everything's perfect. They go on vacation literally every week. Like that's not the case. Um, yeah, but I think the only person that you should be comparing yourself with is yourself. Like, are you better than you were yesterday? Because if you look at it from that perspective and you look, is the yes, is who I was yesterday different to who I am right now? Am I better than I was yesterday? And if your answer is yes, every time you answer that question, then all you're gonna do is just keep growing and you're gonna see progress. Like don't measure your progress and your self worth with other people because they live their own lives, they have their own problems that they don't even show to us. Um so yeah, I do compare myself with other people. I think that's natural, but I don't really tie my self worth to it anymore.
question came to my mind right now because of your answer. I really agree in terms of, are you really got better 1% than yesterday? I always ask this question, but like not every day. My question is yes, but how it in your side? Can you say like, yes, I am better than yesterday? Like every day you can say it, or
Hmm.
sometimes you can relax the process or putting the effort you put.
I wouldn't say every day it's a yes. I would say more so it's just the general trend that you're going towards is is up. It's not stagnant and it's not going down either. So yeah, as long as you're improving in the grand scheme of things, that's really what matters.
Yeah, that makes sense. Another question. You thought you will regret one day. And what is this?
Something that I thought I will regret one day.
Yeah.
Hmm. I think it ties back to something that I said earlier, which was living my life based on what other people wanted for me and not what I wanted for myself. So, an example of that would be maybe choosing a specific degree or going to college when I didn't want to go. I'm not saying that right now I don't want to go, but um, yeah, it's really just putting other people's opinions of what you should do over what you think you should do. I think it's important to be authentic to yourself, which means like basically, you know, staying true to what you believe, even if that's not what other people want for you. And I think that's something that I won't regret, which is always choosing myself and what I think is the best for me.
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. So, but you will not regret, right?
Yeah, I will not regret. I don't think. Well, I mean, if you're talking about like something that I would regret, it's probably just like wasting time doing things that I shouldn't be doing. Probably like scrolling on social media for like 7 hours a day. I don't do that, but I used to. Like during the pandemic, it was really bad. I had nothing. I had nothing coming for me during the pandemic. I didn't really do anything with my time. Anything useful.
I agree. In terms of the cold calls, what can you do or what would you do having clients in that day? For example, today you called for 100 clients, but all of them rejected. But you have to have one day, you have to have one client for today. Will you keep calling or will you stop?
Even if I had to get the client that day, I would keep doing what I had to do until I got it. So yeah, I would keep calling.
Like in terms of clients, like they are rejected you several times. Do you think you need to improve something, or you are gonna go like with your mindset, or will you add something, or will you change something in terms of the speaking, or I don't know what would do like the cold callers like agency owners do. I don't know, but do you
Yeah,
outsource everything, or what do you think?
I think you have to have this like continuous feedback loop where okay, this is what you did right, this is what you did wrong, and then you have to focus on getting better and like improving, like for example in cold calling, improving your script or improving the way you talk, like your tonality. And yeah, just like keep keep improving on your script until it becomes until it becomes better and better.
Do you think everything depends on scripts?
No, it really depends on your mindset as well. Like, how many times are you going to call people until you give up? And you real until you give up and you're like, and this is not for me. You need to, because what if like you do, I don't know, 700 cold calls, and your 701st cold call was the one that was actually going to give you a client, but you gave up at call number 700, right? So it's like, what if you just keep pushing just a little bit more until you finally get there? Like, if you keep trying, you're eventually going to get there. The only way that you're going to fail is when you give up.
Yeah, true. What do you think? How much you are passionate about your job? Like, let's say, rate mm, 1 to 10. Because
Hmm.
I think you're really passionate about it. Because 2 months and you're really trying, and yeah, you are so motivated. Keep doing it. What do you think?
Passionate. um, about what I'm doing right now, like cold calling, I don't think anybody's really passionate about that. So if it was just cold calling by itself, I'd probably give it a one. But if it was
Oh,
like everything that I had to do with the agency, we always love learning new things. So maybe like a five. But I'm being generous. I'm being generous. It's not. It's like the agency business model is not the most like sexy business model out there. There's nothing interesting about it. It's just like you're reaching out to people and then you basically have clients. Like that's all.
oh. But like, honestly, I couldn't understand. I cannot understand if rated like 5. What is the reason that you are not living? Let's say, no, like, let me be specific. Are you
Okay.
are you scary? What do you think? Just leaving this job and trying another thing, because the person inspired you. It was Iman, right? Because as
Yeah.
you said, like being in the social media trap, that always people always call themselves like the sexy one, or most the business model or entrepreneur, like billionaire or millionaire, let's say. They show you the most sweet parts of the thing, of the job. Also, I also was in this trap before. But what was the reason you are still there, like trying? And if you are rating it 5, I don't know how much you're passionate or patient about it. But what do you think? Are you scaring just living and keeping, or living and like trying something else?
I'm not thinking of leaving and trying something else. I think with everything new that you try in life, especially if it's like a new business model, you have to realize that you're not going to enjoy everything about it. Like what you said about social media, um, that like shows the top 10% of what people show on social media, and then like the rest of the 90%, like the boring day-to-day things that they do, they don't really show that. I think it's the same here, especially when you're starting out. um, as a business owner, the things that you're gonna do is not necessarily exciting at all. And in fact, you might not even like want to do it most of the time. But that's the reason why there's only a few successful people out there compared to everybody else that wants to like try the business. Like the percentage of the people that want to have tried the business model and then gave up, or people that want to start, and versus the small percentage that are actually at the top and succeeding, like there's a really big gap between those two groups. And the reason why there's a big gap is because when people realize that it's not as easy as people thought it would be, and then they give up, it's the people that keep pushing through no matter what. It's the people that, keep doing what they have to do even if they don't enjoy what they're doing. Those are the people that actually become successful. They just like keep trying, and they don't move on to another business model or another job because it seems easy, right? It's kind of like shiny object syndrome. So, oh, I want to try the agency business model because a lot of people are making money, and then they try it. Oh, it's not as easy as they thought it would be, and then they see ecom. They're like, okay, I'm gonna try ecom instead because it might be easier. And then the same thing happens with ecom. Then they keep moving on, but they don't really become successful with it because they don't stick with it long enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. As I said, like I was also in the trap. Like I thought ecom was easy for starting business, right? And the reason why I joined the DL because of the Jordan, who is our the coach our the DL in terms of the winning store. Yeah, the program winning store, and like I saw his video and he promoted the EDL and he said so terms of something blah blah, and then I was like thinking, oh, I know this guy and he's making money. Oh, maybe it's easy in the store like drop shipping, and I was like, oh, this is not my thing actually, and I just quit it, and there is also personal reasons, but this is the time I realized it's not like the easy when people show you. There is a secret behind of everything, every success.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah. Success doesn't come easy.
what do you think? Are you really surrounded people by like the surround? What do you think? Do you surrounded people who inspire you, or there's also toxic ones? Because in terms of uh, growth, you have to like surround yourself with good environment, good people. But if
Mhm.
there's a toxic one,
It's hard to find people that have the same mindset as you in real life. Like, it's really hard to find that. I think I only know one person near me that has the same mindset as me. Um, in terms of positive role models and like people that you surround yourself with, I think it's really important for your growth, because if you're surrounded by people who don't have the same mindset as you, and who are trying to put you down, you can really get affected by that, and then you'll start developing their mindset as well. There's this quote, I don't know who said it, but it goes like, you are the sum of the five people that you surround yourself with the most. So you have to really be careful with who you talk to on a daily basis. I'm not saying like isolate yourself from everybody around you. That's not what I mean. Because I think there's something that I think Alex Hormozy was talking about this in a podcast. It's like having a negative role model. I think Chris Williamson, Alex Hormozy and Chris Williamson in this podcast. And it's like a role model but opposite. So if you're really in that stage are in this place in your life where everyone around you has like characteristics that you don't want to have, what you would do is basically, oh, that person drinks a lot. I don't want to be like that person. Or this person never works out. I don't want to be like that person. And then you just like kind of like pick the things that you don't want to be, and then you kind of switch that, like, as opposed to, I don't want, that person drinks a lot, so I'm not going to drink a lot. It's it's kind of like negative role model. It's like the opposite of a role model, if that makes sense.
Does the person has to have like endure the toxic people
Hmm.
or letting them go? What do you think? What type of person you are?
I don't like surrounding myself with people that are toxic at all. Like, I'd prefer to just be by myself if those are the only people that are around me. So it's like, if you have friends that don't really understand what you're doing and they try to encourage you to do things that you don't want to be doing and that you know are not good for you, then I think it's better for you to just not talk to them anymore, or to tell them that, um I haven't
Also,
told them myself, right? But if they ask you like, why are you not hanging out with us anymore, just say like, how would you say it?
I don't know.
You're okay. You would say like, you've been a great friend to me, but the paths that we're on are kind of different. That
Oh,
was a terrible way to say it. But you get what I mean. It's like,
are
I
toxic.
would
They
just
will
ghost
not
them.
understand.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
won't understand.
I do.
I don't know. I haven't done it myself, so I can't really say anything for that. But yeah, just try not to surround yourself with toxic people, and try to make friends and be with people that are actually going to support you. I think that's really
Yeah,
important.
this is actually true. If the thing, the advice will you give is the last advice will you give, what advice it would be? Like, let's say I'm not wishing anything, but you are in your deathbed, and the last advice you can give, and what advice it would be? What do you think?
Hmm.
Or
What advice would I give? I guess it would just be to stay true to yourself, and yeah, just stay true to yourself. That's really all that matters. Because like, what, you only get one chance at life. So if you're not going to live your life as a happy individual, or you're not going to live your life authentically, then you've just essentially wasted your life. So you have to do things that you enjoy.
makes sense. My last question is, this is the question came from that way, actually. What do you think? Are you 100% true to yourself?
Right now,
Yeah, in terms of everything and what you did before, what you are doing right now. Are you 100% true to yourself? Honest?
I would say I'm getting there. I'm more true to myself than I was last year, than I was 5 years ago. but I'm not perfect, as in I'm 100% authentic. But it's something that I'm working on and that I'll probably be working on for the rest of my life.
You will scale up your trueness, rightness by the time as you grow older.
I think it's a work in progress and it will always be a work in progress because humans aren't perfect. Like, there's always something that we can improve on. So, like, it's like once you overcome this obstacle, another obstacle comes in its place. There's not a time in your life where you won't have any problems whatsoever. It's just you have to keep improving and keep working on yourself. And as long as you're improving, that's what really matters.
Yeah. Your answers really um, make me think a lot. I think I will think this answers tomorrow and next week and next month. But yeah, we are here to grow, improve ourselves, and yeah, what you said really make sense. And yeah, I think we also have time to, yeah, we are also about to end our podcast. Um, what can I say is thank you for your advices and your thoughts. Really was like mind blowing and really were new to me. And yeah, you are the different person I ever met before, and this was the call I ever experienced. The first call I ever experienced in terms of everything, technical and language.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Thank you. It was
thanks
very
for
fun. Thank you for having me.
yeah, thanks for being my guest.
Yeah. Thank you.
I